एहसास न्याय का सबके लिए, आकाश न्याय का सबके लिए, उल्लास न्याय का सबके लिए, विश्वास न्याय का सबके लिए। अपने इस हिंदुस्तान पर हक हमारा भी तो है, इंसाफ के इस आशिया पर हक हमारा भी तो है। एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर हक हमारा भी तो है, एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर हक हमारा भी तो है।
ये ना सोचो दर्द हमारा कहीं सुना न जाएगा, अब न्यायालय खुद चलकर चौपालों तक आएगा।
लाचारों को न्याय मिलेगा, दुखियारों को न्याय मिलेगा, कमजोरों को न्याय मिलेगा, मजलूमों को न्याय मिलेगा। अपने इस हिंदुस्तान पर हक हमारा भी तो है, उम्मीदों के इस गुलसितां पर हक हमारा भी तो है। एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर हक हमारा भी तो है, एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर हक हमारा भी तो है।
गरीब और कमजोरों को मुफ्त एवं सक्षम कानूनी सहायता के लिए प्रतिबद्ध विधिक सेवा प्राधिकरण नालसा, न्याय सबके लिए।
हेलो चेक चेक, हेलो हेलो।
एहसास न्याय का सबके लिए, आकाश न्याय का सबके।
Good morning to all of you. All are requested to kindly switch off their mobile or keep the mobile on silent mode. I request Shri Niaz Alam, the additional district and session judge, to kindly accompany His Lordship Honorable Justice Surya Khan to the dais. Thank you, Your Lordship. I request Shri Rashid Alam to accompany Honorable Justice Dipankar Datta on the dais. I request Shri Anupam Sirkar to accompany Honorable Justice T.S. Shivgyanam on the dais. Thank you, Lordship. I request Shri Stephen Raj to accompany Honorable Justice Sabyasachi Bhattacharya for the dais. Thank you. Today we have gathered here to in this state level conference on burning topics of the suicide, child marriage, child sexual abuse, and interplay in between the mental health issues. And we are blessed to have among us, in between us, Honorable Justice Surya Khan, Judge Supreme Court of India and Executive Chairman, National Legal Services Authority. And we are having with us Honorable Justice Dipankar Datta, Judge Supreme Court of India and Patron, National Legal Service Authority for the Andaman and Nicobar State Legal Service Authority. We are having with us Honorable Justice T.S. Shivgyanam, Honorable the Chief Justice, High Court at Calcutta, and Honorable Patron-in-Chief, Andaman SLSA. We are having with us Honorable Justice Sabyasachi Bhattacharya, Judge High Court at Calcutta and Executive Chairman, Andaman SLSA. We are having with us Honorable Justice Joy Sen Gupta, Honorable Judge High Court at Calcutta and holding circuit bench at Port Blair. We are having with us Honorable Justice Bibhas Pattanayak, Honorable Judge High Court at Calcutta and holding circuit bench at Port Blair. We are also having among us the Inspector General of Police, Madam Sindhu Pillai, Shri L. Kumar, the Secretary Education, Secretary Social Welfare, and holding the Secretary Law in Charge, the Shri Arjun Sharma, the Deputy Commissioner, South Andaman, the Senior Superintendent of Police, Shri Manoj Kumar Meena, and we are also having with us the respected learned members of the bar, the senior advocates from the bar, the stakeholders from Social Welfare Department, the stakeholders from Education Department, the Panchayati Raj Institution, the Police Department, and the persons from the tribal community, as well as the students of law, as well as the teachers, professors. And with the kind permission of the Honorable, the Chief Guest of today's program, we may commence the program. Thank you, Your Lordship. And with the kind permission of Your Lordship, I request all the dignitaries to light the ceremonial lamp. I request Honorable Justice Jai Sen Gupta, Honorable Justice Vibhas Patnaik to kindly come up with the dignitaries for lighting the lamp.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्
Thank you, Lordships. It's time for felicitation. I request Honorable Justice Joy Sen Gupta to kindly felicitate Honorable Justice Suryakant by presenting the memento and a shawl. Now I request Honorable Justice Bibhas Patnaik to kindly felicitate Honorable Justice Dipankar Datta by presenting the memento and a shawl. Thank you, Lordship. Now I request Shri Rashid Alam to kindly present the memento and a shawl to facilitate Honorable Justice T. S. Shivgyanam. I request Shri Sudhir Kumar, the learned district and session judge, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, to kindly come up the stage and felicitate Honorable Justice Sabyasachi Bhattacharya. Thank you, Lordship. I request Shri Bharat Parashar, learned member secretary, National Legal Service Authority, to kindly felicitate Honorable Justice Joy Sen Gupta. Thank you. I request Madam Aarti Singh, Officer on Special Duty, National Legal Service Authority, to kindly felicitate Honorable Justice Bibhas Patnaik. Thank you. I request Senior Advocate Mr. Deep Kabir to kindly facilitate Shri Bharat Parashar, learned member secretary, National Legal Service Authority. I request Shri L. Kumar, Secretary, Education, to kindly facilitate Shri Ajit Atri, the Officer on Special Duty, Nalsa. I request Madam Babita Das, the government leader in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, to kindly felicitate Madam Aarti Singh, OSD Nalsa. Thank you. With kind permission of Honorable the Chief Guest, may I request Honorable Justice T.S. Shivgyanam kindly to deliver his. Okay. May I request Justice Honorable Justice Sabyasachi Bhattacharya to kindly deliver the welcome.
I wish all of you a very good morning here. I'd like to cordially welcome Honorable Justice Surya Kant, the Executive Chairman of the National Legal Services Authority and a Judge of the Supreme Court, the senior most judge now. I'd like also to welcome Honorable Justice Deepankar Datta. He needs no introduction in the islands, but still he is now a Judge of the Supreme Court and the patron in overall charge of the Andaman and Nicobar Legal Services Authorities. I also welcome Honorable Chief Justice of our court, Honorable Justice T.S. Shivaganam. He is also the Patron-in-Chief of the Andaman and Nicobar Legal Services Authorities, the ANSLSA. Equally, I'd like to welcome Honorable Justice Joy Sengupta and Honorable Justice Bipash Patnaik, who have had the time out of the circuit to come here and attend the program. Thank you for that, both of you. And I'd like to welcome Honorable Mr. Bharat Parashar. He is the Member Secretary of the NALSA and the Director of the NALSA, as well as the OSD in charge of the NALSA. Thank you very much for coming. I cordially welcome the members of the bar, the esteemed members of the bar. Without you, the program would not be possible. Thank you for gracing the occasion. All of you who are there from the administration, and mostly I'd like to welcome the students who have come here, because this program is primarily for you. The format of the program will be that I'll give a very brief introduction, then the speakers will be making their addresses, and then we will have an interaction with the children, as well as the administration, as well as the others, the bar, the others, whoever wants to speak. Now, 2.5 months back, 3 months back, we had another program on child marriage and child sexual abuse. You may ask, in your own mind, why another program on that? We got strong response in that, and we felt that those two topics are required to be covered from a different perspective now. Previously, you had heard the social activists, mostly the members of the bar, defense, prosecution council, as well as some of the stakeholders. Now we'll get a overview from the Honorable Supreme Court judges and the Chief Justice also. And also from the perspective from not only the judges, but as authorities under the Legal Services Authorities Act. It's a different perspective. The format of the program this time will be a bit different, because the speeches will be there, but after that the interactive session will be more open and more interactive, we hope. And also we've added a topic, suicide, which has acquired extreme prominence recently in the islands, because the rate of suicide is one of the highest in the country, if not the highest. So these are the broad topics which we are covering. Brief introduction. Regarding child marriage, all of us know that child marriage is an evil for several reasons. One, the health issues of the after child marriage. Generally, if childbearing occurs, a child becomes the mother of a child. It's a risk, health risk and a mental risk. It's a trauma also to the child, the mother, as well as the newborn. And moreover, if there is a child marriage, there is generally a tendency of all the future possibilities, education, the childhood of the child who is getting married, and her future prospects regarding financial stability, financial independence, and education, these get stalled, stunted. So that's another reason why this is an evil. And it has been recognized as an evil the world over. Child marriage, there has been an evolution in the law of the country, of our country. Initially, there was in the IPC 1860, the marriageable age of the child, below which it would be illegal, was 10. Then came the Age of Consent Bill of 1927. It made the age 12 years. After that, Child Marriage Restraint Act was there in 1929. Girls 16 years, boys 18 years. That was the age limit given there, which was changed by the 1978 amendment, and the present situation was arrived at 18 for the girl and 21 for the boy. Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006 was a revolutionary step forward for several reasons. Two I'll be highlighting just in a nutshell. One is under Section 3, those marriages are voidable. Voidable at the instance of the parties after 2 years from their attaining majority. They can file a petition and ask it to be rendered void. So it's voidable at their instance. Where is the step forward? Because that step is there in any event in the matrimonial laws. The step forward is that Section 12 of the Act provides that under certain circumstances, such a marriage would be not voidable, but void. What are the circumstances? If the child is taken out or enticed out of the keeping of the guardian, or if by force or by deceitful means the child is taken out. Thirdly, more importantly, if the child is sold for the purpose of marriage and made to go through a marriage. Even after the marriage, if the child is sold or trafficked, then also the child marriage is rendered void, not voidable. This is a progressive step forward. And 9 to 11, sections 9 to 11 of the Act provide who are the punishable persons under the Act and the punishment is given to them respectively. Section 13 is an extremely important forward step. It provides power to the judicial magistrates and the metropolitan magistrates to issue injunction to restrain child marriage. And there is a prohibitory punishment penal clause for that also. I won't go into that in detail. That will be covered by the eminent speakers who are here. More importantly, not only on complaint or an application from the child marriage prohibition officer or any other person, but suo motu also the judge, the judicial magistrate, can issue injunction in these cases. Another important power is given under section 13, subsection 4 of the Act, which says the district magistrate may stop or prevent a child marriage. Instead of waiting for the marriage to happen and then declare it void or voidable, he can prevent the marriage, and for such purpose all appropriate measures as per the Act can be taken, but with use of minimum force required. Whatever force is required, the district magistrate can do that. Punishment for disobedience, simple imprisonment up to 2 years, except women. That is another aspect we have to look into, why except women, because women are punishable for other offences also, and they are sometimes instrumental in child marriages, but that is there in the statute. And fine up to rupees 1 lakh. So this is the contour of the Child Marriage Act, which will be dealt with by the speakers. The other important topic is child sexual abuse and child different sorts of sexual abuse. Now, sexual abuse is interconnected with child trafficking also, because often we see children are trafficked, and there are several reasons. They are used as bonded labor, cheap free labor. Also, children are used for commercially being exploited, which is more of an evil. And there are other aspects of the matter also. India is not only a country where genesis of this child trafficking occurs, it's a transit country as well as a destination country, as recognized by the UN, which is important in a negative way. And this child trafficking, it's one of the biggest criminal industries, so-called industries, after drug abuse and arms dealing. Just imagine worldwide what is the proportion of this evil. Now, regarding this evil, POCSO Act has come. All of us know, Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. But there are other acts also. The Juvenile Justice Act also comes into play in certain cases regarding child trafficking, and it has recognized child in need of care and protection also, just as it has children in conflict with law. So both sides of the coin have been looked into. There was a Palermo Protocol in 2000 of the UN. It was held in Sicily. It was the first to recognize human trafficking. It defined human trafficking and put it as an offense, and there were several guidelines regarding that. India has several statutes, Immoral Traffic Act and other acts are there, but POCSO Act is more on the issue. Landmark judgments, there are several landmark judgments. As of late, we have found the Sampurna Behura case of 2018, Bachpan Bachao Andolon case, where crimes against children were recognized, and Just Rights for Children Alliance 2024 case. Child pornography was looked at a very negative light, and several guidelines were issued. Society for Enlightenment and Voluntary Action 2024, child marriage was dealt with extensively in extenso. So this POCSO Act section 40, it contains a provision that victims of POCSO Act can have free legal aid. So which is where the legal aid services authorities also come in, and we have a duty, statutory duty, to provide such free assistance. It recognizes several offences, primarily sexual assault, penetrative sexual assault, aggravated forms of both of these, as well as sexual harassment of a child, which is of a greater proportion than an adult, use of child for pornography, which has also been highlighted. And in the internet age, you know how fast, like wildfire, a child pornography spreads. So section 15 is a very important provision for that, which penalizes and criminalizes storage of pornographic material. In your device, if you store pornographic material, not only if you commercially use or transmit it, but if you fail to delete, it's very important, fail to delete or destroy that pornography with the intention of sharing or transmit, intention can be imputed to you. If you fail to delete, you cannot have a defense that it was there in my phone. If it is shown that you had intention to transmit it, you are punishable under the Act, which is another cloak of protection given to children, our children. Chapter 5 of the Act deals with reporting of this child offences against children, sexual offences. Punishment, it's punishable not to report. So failure to report is a punishable offence. That chapter 5 deals with also how the media will proceed about it. No reporting or comment on a child offence without complete and full information and authentic information. In spite of whether you publish or not, you cannot disclose the particular and name of the child. So these are very important measures. Chapter 6 of that Act also says the procedure. What is the procedure for recording of statement of children in these cases? There are several sensitive measures put in. Children are often comfortable with women, so women police officers, if available, they will be roped in, they will come and they will take the statement, they will be present. In presence of parents is also another aspect, if possible, that statement will be taken. And also no detention of a child for taking the statement at night. Special courts, child-friendly courts have been put into place by this Act. And one of the cases, child rights for Just Rights for Children Alliance, which I mentioned, of 2024, that puts into place various measures regarding child pornography, and importantly says that child pornography sounds very rude. So instead of child pornography, the term child sexual exploitation and abuse material, CSIM, that should be incorporated. That advice, that rather request has been made to the Parliament in that Act. So it's another important aspect. We shall also touch today the issue of suicide. Suicide, as all of us know, Article 21 guarantees the right to a life of dignity. Some of you must have read The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins, the evolutionary biologist. Now, his theory is that it's the gene, our genes. So our genes, to propagate themselves and to preserve themselves, have created our organism, and the genes propagate, ensure that our organisms are maintained well, different parts of our body coordinate with each other, and we preserve ourselves. So it's written in our genes to preserve ourselves. When someone goes against that genetic blueprint and militates against that and takes one's own life, we can just only imagine the circumstances he or she is going through to go against her own genetic blueprint. So that's the importance that suicide in a negative way has in our case. And there are several laws to provide the basic standards of life to people. So many laws. When does one commit suicide? It's a failure of society, because society could not provide the means to ensure that those basic standards are provided to them, which are guaranteed by law and the Constitution. There also the role of the society, civil society, as well as, apart from the administration, the legal aid authorities, legal services authorities come into play. So these are the contours of our discussion today. I'll leave it to the speakers to elaborate on these. Thank you very much. Welcome to the session, and also I'll thank each of you for taking time out today. And we expect the program to be a really interactive one. And children, you will have to interact. Even if you don't raise your hands, we'll pick you up and ask you to interact. So remember that. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Your Lordship. Now I request Honorable Justice T. S. Shivgyanam to kindly deliver the special address.
Honorable Justice Suryakant, Judge Supreme Court of India, and Honorable Executive Chairman of the National Legal Services Authority, Honorable Justice Dipankar Datta, Judge Supreme Court of India, and Honorable Patron of the Andaman and Nicobar State Legal Services Authority, my colleagues, Honorable Justice Abhishashi Bhattacharya, the Executive Chairman of the Andaman and Nicobar Legal Service Authority, Honorable Justice Joyshan Gupta, Honorable Justice Bivas Patnaik. In fact, we are missing 3 of other colleagues, Honorable Justice Soman Sen, Honorable Justice Tapopatra Chakravarti, and Honorable Justice Shampa Sarkar. Though their flight came well in time, they couldn't land and they have gone back to Calcutta. So that's very unfortunate. Justice Soman Sen is the Executive Chairman of the West Bengal State Legal Service Authority, and Justice Tapopatra is the Chairman of the High Court Legal Services Committee, and Justice Shampa Sarkar, the High Court Legal Services Committee in Port Blair. In fact, she was supposed to inaugurate the Lok Adalat, and the honors were given to Honorable Justice Jayashan Gupta. The learned member secretary of the NALSA, the director NALSA and OSD NALSA, the member secretary of the Andaman and Nicobar State Legal Service Authority, Mr. Bhavani Shankar Sharma, the registrar administration, the learned district judge, the learned judges of the Andaman and Nicobar, senior officials of the Andaman administration, Madam Inspector General of Police, the senior police officers, the President, Secretary and members of the bar and the learned senior advocates of the bar, the experts, the psychologists, the psychiatrists, the other stakeholders, and above all the students of the law college who have come in large numbers today, members of the press and electronic media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. I welcome you all to this state level conference on 3 important topics: child marriage, child sex abuse and suicide in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and the interplay with POCSO and the Mental Health Act. In fact, we had a very enriching session yesterday at Havelock, and Honorable Justice Suryakant was our guiding spirit, duly supported by Honorable Justice Dipankar Datta. Though the program was planned for about 1 hour 15 minutes, it went past 3.5 hours. There was very good interaction. So that is why Honorable Justice Abhishesh Bhattacharya has emphasized that today's program shall also be an interactive session. That's what their Lordships desire. So therefore, in fact, for this conference, we have the privilege of the 2 Honorable Supreme Court judges, the senior most judge of the Honorable Supreme Court, and despite their busy schedule, they have taken time and been with us today, despite the weather, etc. In fact, the travel from Havelock was very, very rough. The sea was very rough, and it was my first experience, so therefore it was all the more terrifying. So on behalf of the Andaman and Nicobar State Legal Service Authority, on behalf of all of you, I thank their Lordships for being present today. As mentioned by Honorable Justice Abhishesh Bhattacharya, on 29th of March, we had a state level conference on child marriage and child exploitation in this very venue. It was, of course, some of you who had participated in that conference are also here, and you all know that what is the take home at the end of the day. So I have no doubt in my mind that today's conference also will be doubly enriching, because we have got 2 eminent persons from the Honorable Supreme Court, more particularly the Executive Chairman of the National Legal Services Authority. And in fact, of course, as pointed out, it's barely 3 months since we did the last program, but I am not sure what was our progress. But one thing I can assure, that the State Legal Services Authority, we will not relax any of our endeavor to spread the awareness. That much I can give an undertaking, and with the active cooperation of the members of the bar, we will be able to do with the state administration and the police administration, we will be able to definitely take forward and continue our good work. As I quoted earlier, I'd like to refer to Mr. Nelson Mandela, what he said about children. Safety and security doesn't just happen. They are a result of collective consensus and public investment. We owe our children, the most vulnerable citizens in our society, a life free of violence and fear. So this should be our endeavor. I will not elaborate on the 3 topics. In fact, Justice Abhishesh Bhattacharya has done a wonderful, in the most precise manner, he has given an opening statement on all the 3 topics and set the tone for this conference. And what I can say is, let us begin this state conference with a pledge that let us protect our children by educating ourselves and others about the importance of child rights, protection and safety, and create a safe and nurturing environment for children to grow and thrive, and support organizations, a lot of NGOs are, and support organizations working to prevent child marriage, abuse and suicide. I'm sure that together, with the collective effort of all of us, we can build a brighter future for our children, and let us take a step towards creating a society that values and protects its most vulnerable members, namely the child. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Lordship. In order to deal with the interplay in between the mental health issues, POCSO, and the psychiatric problem and the suicide, we are having with us Dr. Kushal Vaidya from ANIMS, who will be putting his views and expert advice and suggestions. Please.
Very good morning to all of you. I'm very glad and thankful that I have been given the opportunity to present such an important topic on child sexual abuse and suicide. I was told yesterday that child marriages won't be taken up. So, starting with the topic. Next. So, sexual abuse involves any sexual activity with a child where consent is not or cannot be given. This includes both physical contact and non-contacts, such as exposure to sexual content or conversation. So, prevalence globally, childhood sexual abuse is a widespread issue. It affects millions of children regardless of age, gender, race or socioeconomic status. Awareness and education are crucial in combating this issue. Next. The key elements of sexual abuse includes any action with sexual intent towards a child involving force, manipulation or coercion. It can occur in various forms, from physical contact to exploiting a child online. So there are two types of sexual abuse. One is contact abuse and one is non-contact abuse. Next. So the latest data which we have from UNICEF 2024 report, that approximately 1 in 8 girls is sexually assaulted before age 18, which is rising to 1 in 5 when we include non-contact sexual abuse. The true numbers may be higher due to under-reporting in such cases. The cultural context, cultural taboos and stigmas often prevent child from reporting such cases, leading to a cycle of silence and further escalation. Next. So coming to the latest data of National Crime Report Bureau 2022, so there are reported offences under POCSO Act is 64,247, and acts assault, penetrative sexual assault, which is 38,444. Next. So the trend, if you see in the past 2 years, 2021 and 22, we could see a significant rise in POCSO cases, 19.2%, and child sexual abuse cases, 8.8%. Next. And the top states which by number, if you see, Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir, Puducherry and Andaman Nicobar Islands. But the exact, if you go into cases per lakh population, that will give you a exact and a better understanding of the picture. So if you see by per lakh population, Delhi being the most leading the list with 1,512 cases, and cases per lakh is 129 cases per lakh, and Andaman Nicobar is in second number, that is 74 cases per lakh children, and thereafter then Kerala, Tamil Nadu, these states are following. Bihar being the least with 4 cases per lakh children. So if you see, this is the data. Next. So it is very important to understand what the child undergoes when he or she undergoes sexual abuse or trauma. So there are some behavioral changes which happens in short term, such as mood swings, aggression, withdrawal, fear of certain people or situations can be mistaken for typical childhood behaviors. Some physical symptoms could be there, like unexplained injuries, difficulty walking or sitting, frequent urinary infections, or could be physical indicators, and they may be accompanied with psychological symptoms of depression or anxiety. Next. So, but there are long-term effects also to child traumas, like depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorders, eating disorders. There could be physical consequences of trauma, such as chronic pain, gastrointestinal issues, reproductive health problems. These children who undergo trauma, sexual trauma, they may have emotional and psychological trauma that survivors carry towards adulthood. These people also have difficult relationship issues, which involve cycle of abuse or involvement in abusive relationship. Next. So till date, in the past 1 year, we have assessed 3 cases of POCSO victims and 2 victims, 2 accused male persons who also had been assessed for their capacity for being produced in court. And the important thing is that the 3 cases which came in, who were girls and were abused, they also had polysubstance use disorder. They were using polysubstances. They were addicted to substances. So the next topic is suicide. So what is suicide? The act of intentionally causing one's death. So the key elements are intentionality. Suicide involves a deliberate action by individual to end their own life. It is a self-directed violence. And third, there is a lethal outcome. The people who attempt a suicide but they survive, they are called suicide attempters or non-fatal self-harms. So suicide is considered a multifactorial outcome involving a complex interplay of biological, psychological and social factors. So next. So these are biopsychosocial factors, like somebody may have psychiatric illness like depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, anxiety disorders, and some also may have personality disorders. Alcohol use may be associated, is a factor which is very important, and aggression and impulsive tendencies. Some people may have personalities with aggressive and impulsive tendencies. History of trauma or abuse in family, history of suicide. The particular person may have committed suicide in past, he is very vulnerable to commit suicide in future. Then major psychiatric illness. If the person is currently suffering from major psychiatric illness, he is very vulnerable to commit suicide. And environmental factors like, these are external factors which include job or financial loss, there is a loss in relationship, there may be domestic violence, there may be child abuse, easy access to lethal means, then easy access to, interpersonal difficulties, conflicts in relationships, and then local clusters of suicide may have a contagious effect that is called the copycat suicides. For example, a person who is exposed to suicides, for example, during death of Sushant Singh Rajput, we have heard lot of cases of rise in suicides. Those people who committed suicide have exposed themselves to this news and other content on suicide through media. And the third, socio-cultural factors, lack of social support. Somebody having lack of social support, stigma associated with help-seeking behavior for mental disorders, psychiatric disorders. There is barrier in accessing health care, equally, especially mental health and substance abuse treatment. And there are cultural and religious beliefs also. Instead, the belief that suicide is a noble resolution of personal dilemma. Then exposure to suicide, either through media, as I said earlier. Next. There are some red flag signs which we all must know so that we could pick or identify any person who is suffering from some kind of problems nearby around us. For example, somebody having recent suicide attempt, he is an immediate risk. clear suicidal plan. Somebody is telling that I will commit suicide, I will end my life. Then verbalizing intent, I wish I were dead. And in children, you will find some child maybe writing poems or maybe drawing. You can see their paintings and drawings and then make out that that particular child is in distress. Then sudden calmness after severe distress. Somebody had some important or some very distressful event in his life, and there is sudden calmness. The person is not to be found in distress, doesn't seem to be in distress. Could be a red flag. Then giving away possession. People who have planned suicide. I mean, there are different kinds of suicide. People may be impulsive. Some people who plan suicide, they will give away their possessions and important belongings to their family members or loved ones. And there are some protective factors against suicide also. So resilience building. So if your coping skills are good, if you develop coping skills from childhood, that can help. Adoption of a healthy lifestyle at early age, and then abstinence from harmful substances like alcohol, cannabis, and other illicit drugs. Then psychosocial support. This involves strong connection to family support from community and conducive medical and mental health care relationships. Third is access to quality treatment. So this is a challenge, that access to medical treatment or psychiatric treatment is very limited. So that time, this is also a challenge. If somebody is having access to it, he is more protective than other people. Then restricted access to means of suicide. For example, people commit suicide by using ropes, pesticides, guns. So restriction to these kind of modalities can prevent suicide. And the last is religious and cultural beliefs. Cultural and religious beliefs that discourage suicide and support self-preservation are deterrents to such acts. So there are some religions which follow that suicide is sinful, and there may be some religion which doesn't consider suicide, but they do it to end their lives. So now coming to the rates of suicide in India, so how it is progressing from 1966 to till date. So this is, if you see the chart, it is in a growing trend. So next. To the recent data from National Crime Report Bureau, if you see, during the year 2022, Sikkim having the highest suicide rates per lakh population, 43.1 per lakh population suicides committed in 2022. In second number, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, that is 42.8. Hardly by few points it is lagging behind. And if you see the least state, that is Manipur and then Bihar. So Bihar POCSO cases is also less, suicide rate is also less as per the data. Next. So if you see the yearly trend from 2020 to 2022, we can see Andaman and Nicobar Island has been leading the list. So if you do 2020, Andaman in first and second in Sikkim. Similarly, 21, Andaman in first and second in Sikkim. But this year, 2022, Andaman Nicobar is in second place and Sikkim is in the first place. Next. So in 2020, 180 individuals in Andaman and Nicobar Islands took their lives, which means one suicide per every alternate day, 130 men and 50 women. The leading causes of these tragedies was illness, accounting for 47 deaths, followed closely by family issues and drug and or alcohol addiction. So total suicides in Andaman and Nicobar, if you see gender-wise, there are 140 males who committed suicide and 31 females who committed suicide. So approximately 81% of male and 18% of female. So from our hospital data, 2024-25, there has been 16 deaths who have attempted suicide, but we could not save them. Age group 15 to 49. Commonest method was poisoning. The second commonest was hanging. Among them, 11 were male and 5 were female. So clearly we can see males are committing more suicide. Next. So in 2024-25, 4 male and 17 female under 18 years of age. And these were adolescent age groups. So, and 13 male and 29 female above 18. So causes multiple had impulsive, most of them had impulsive acts. They didn't plan their suicide. Within a very short span of time, either having an argument or insult, they committed suicide. They also had psychiatric illness, comorbid psychiatric illness, adjustment disorders, then unemployment, family issues, marital issues, loneliness, financial cause, and then substance use. So this is change in suicide rates among the states from past data. So the recent data was 2022. So Mizoram had increased changes in percentage of suicides, and then Uttar Pradesh 38%. Most significant use in large states. Among the large states is Uttar Pradesh. Then Jammu Kashmir also showed a positive increase in 31% of suicide than previous reports. And Himachal Pradesh, but Himachal Pradesh has showed a decrease in the trend of suicide. Next. So if you compare, this is another diagram we could show, the proportion of suicide across different age groups. So 2 different data from 21 and 22. So there, if you could see the yellow and 18 to 30 years of age group, green, they are the most vulnerable groups, these age groups, because 18 to 30 and 30 to 45. Next. If you compare the top reported causes of suicide, so family related issues, then illness, third is marriage and relationship concerns, fourth is alcohol and substance use, and fifth is debt, poverty and unemployment. And if you see by, compare by profession, you can see daily wage workers committing more number of suicides, then housewives, then professional persons, unemployed, then students. So what is our psychiatrist perspective about suicide? Mental illness is not being reported as we expect. So what we see today in clinics is a tip of iceberg. Majority of cases may not reach our hospital. Lack of health seeking. There is a significant amount of stigma among population which prevents seeking help. And then lack of awareness about mental health issues and that there is a solution or there is a help about all these problems. And risk factors are youth unemployment, academic stress, domestic violence, substance use. And there is an important changes which has happened under Mental Health Act, that is decriminalization of suicide. So that is a positive thing which has come in. So any person who is committing suicide may not have to undergo trial. He will be considered as a patient and he will undergo treatment. So mental health issues in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. There is an escalating mental health crisis leading to morbidity, yet large scale representative data is lacking, especially in remote regions of India like Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And there is a current mental health policies and interventions require evidence-based updates to ensure accessibility to healthcare facilities. So if we have some data from our hospital or our psychiatric ward unit. So 2024 to 2025, we saw almost new patients which were added to our department, 2,154. And the old patients are 19,316 who are receiving treatment. Next. These are the common mental health disorders in islands which we have observed. Depression, mood disorders actually, adjustment disorder, substance use disorder. Among the substance, alcohol, nicotine, cannabis, methamphetamine, we do see regularly in OPD clinics. Then anxiety disorder, psychotic disorder, and in children, ADHD, attention and deficit hyperactivity disorder, and intellectual disability. So both these in childhood groups. और पीछे, back, 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 next. So what are the measures we are taking? We follow a multidisciplinary approach. For example, awareness program about mental health among school teachers, police officers, CISF personnel on regular basis. We are doing from our department. We outreach program for schools and students. Screening of schools and college students on regular basis under RBSK program. Then psychiatrists with psychologists, social workers visit old age homes, orphanages, or for regular checkups. And we also do licensing. For example, some patients is admitted in other departments of medicine or surgery, and we go and see those patients on call basis. Somebody may have a medical illness, but there is a high likely chance of having comorbid psychiatric illness. So people who are coming to hospital, among 40% of the patients, according to research, they have comorbid psychiatric illness. And we also provide OPD and IPD services. Along with that, our clinical psychologists and social workers also give counseling to the patients who require them. Next. There is, what measures are we taking? Next is multi-sectoral collaboration with health, police, anti-trafficking, schools, mental health, national action plan for drug demand reduction, NAP, DDR, integrated rehabilitation for chronically addicted, all in place in Andaman Nicobar Islands. Effective and sustainable action, all the teams work in liaison with each other. Inclusiveness and innovations, research is conducted by us on drug, mental health issues, suicide. We have all treatment modalities available in hospital, and drug abusers are treated across all departments. Thank you. Some questions.
We will be taking questions. Thank you, Dr. Kushal Vaidya, for your expert advice and expert comments. Now we request Honorable Justice Dipankar Datta to kindly give his keynote address.
Honorable Justice Suryakant, Judge, Supreme Court of India, and the Executive Chairman, National Legal Services Authority, Honorable Justice T.S. Shivagyanam, Chief Justice, High Court at Calcutta, and Patron-in-Chief, Andaman and Nicobar State Legal Services Authority, Justice Shobhashachi Bhattacharya, Judge, High Court at Calcutta, and the Chairman of the Andaman and Nicobar State Legal Services Authority, Justices Joy Sengupta and Bibhash Patnaik, Judges of the High Court at Calcutta on Circuit, Mr. Bharat Parashar and his team from Nalsa, members of the legal and judicial fraternity, officers of the Civil and Police Administration, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and dear students. A very good afternoon to one and all. In our court halls, one often hears the word Passover. Passover means the lawyer is not ready to argue a matter. He seeks a Passover. The judge grants the Passover so that the next matter can be called on. Now, I am one person who never gives a Passover when it comes to the question of visiting Andamans. The slightest opportunity, I try to make good hold of it. And since Andaman is so dear to my heart, I really feel pained and hurt that today we are in a state conference to discuss these three very sensitive topics which should not have afflicted the people of Andamans. We do not know how heaven is, but if we are to search for heaven in India, I believe Andaman is one of those places. And in this heaven of ours where you live, which is your homeland, why should there be child marriages? Why should there be child sexual abuse? Suicides, I'm keeping it aside because suicide is something which involves even adults, even people who are more than 40 years of age. My Lord the Chief Justice has said that we should take a pledge to safeguard the interests of our children. I would go a step further. Let us take a pledge to safeguard the interest of all of us here in the Andamans. Why only students? The students will be growing up. They will become adult and thereafter they will pursue their courses according to their choice. We must be alive to their problems. Now, being part of the Legal Services Authority, we have certain objectives in mind. We are not here as judges of the Supreme Court or of the Calcutta High Court. We are here because the Legal Services Authorities Act has placed certain responsibilities on us. On the one hand, we are policymakers, like the legislature legislates. On the other hand, we are like the executive. We implement what is required to be done under the Legal Services Act for all of you. Justice Suryakant will be discussing on this topic later on, so I'll not go further into the depth of the Legal Services Authorities Act. As has been observed by Justice Bhattacharya in the very beginning, we had a wonderful session yesterday in Havelock. The session was to continue for 1 hour, but it continued for 3 hours. Towards the end, there were so many questions that we could not take all the questions. I don't want that this should happen today. When we ask the audience to put questions to us or to let us know what your problems are, so that we can at least try to find out a solution, so that we can make your lives meaningful and dignified. So please do cooperate. In a state level conference like this, no success can be achieved unless each and every one of you participate. So therefore, this would be our request when we open up the session. Please feel free to put whatever problems, concern you have. And this is within closed doors. And maybe I'm having a look at this mic. This is being aired on Doordarshan. Yes. Is it live? Yes. It's live. So therefore, sir, it's not really fully closed door. So maybe the participants may have some hesitancy in putting questions. So I leave it to you how you would like the program to be conducted. But if anyone feels that they should, interact with us within closed doors, for that moment we can regulate our proceedings in that way. Interactive session. But sir, one other thing, they give brilliant ideas, the audience. And if the audience who are not here physically, who are looking at the screen, they would be deprived of that opportunity. So we will have to conduct it accordingly, right? So as I was saying, as human beings, it is our collective responsibility to preserve the beauty and serenity of the Andamans, not just its physical landscapes, but also the soul of the society that thrives upon it. We must strive to build a society which is safe, just, and accommodating. After all, what is the use of a beautiful place if it is plagued by issues like child marriages, sexual abuse, and suicides? In the limited time that I have, I would like to speak about some of these issues. Let us start with child marriage, which remains one of the most harmful practices affecting our children, especially girl children. At its core, child marriage is a violation of multiple fundamental rights. The right to choose one's life partner, the right to privacy, and the right to education. It denies children their childhood, disrupts their studies, and often subjects the girl child to early pregnancies, putting her physical and mental health at serious risk. And let's be honest, it's the girl child who bears the greater burden. She is forced to grow up too soon, carry responsibilities she is not prepared for, and often suffers in silence. The legal position is clear. Under the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, anyone below the age of 21, any male child, he is considered a child, and a girl child below the age of 18 years. The Act provides imprisonment of up to 2 years and a fine of up to 1 lakh rupees for anyone who performs, conducts, facilitates, or encourages such marriages. Therefore, this includes not only the Pandits, priests, and Qazis who perform and solemnize these functions, but also the parents or community members who enable or support them in any way. The message is loud and clear. Child marriage is not just socially wrong, it is legally punishable. The legislature has done its part. The law exists. But laws alone do not change societies. It is now time for us to introspect and act as individuals and as a collective community. So what can we do? First and foremost, as individuals, we must stop looking at the girl child as a burden or a responsibility. As on today, the fact of the matter is that they are the nation builders, future leaders, equal citizens, and therefore they deserve to be recognized accordingly. Please invest in their education, empower them, and see how they thrive. As a community, we must all come together to challenge and question the customs that encourage early marriage. Real change is not possible without involving the community. Many of you are village heads holding different important official positions, and you are also community leaders. I urge all of you to carry forward this message. Conduct awareness programs, hold village meetings, and most importantly, personally counsel families to refrain from supporting or facilitating child marriages. I wish to reiterate that ending child marriage is not just the duty of government or courts, it is a collective moral responsibility. Moving on to a further sensitive topic of sexual abuse of children, I am reminded of another quote by Nelson Mandela. You heard Chief Justice quoting Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela said, I quote, "Our children are our greatest treasure. They are our future. Those who abuse them tear at the fabric of our society and weaken our nation." Unquote. In the past 3 years, the number of child abuse cases in the islands have ranged from 114 in 2021-22 to 105 in 2022-23 to 92 cases in 2023-24. These figures would show a gradual decline, but it is not that this is an encouraging figure, that crimes are going down. We must think of how many cases go unreported. Many more children suffer in silence because they are afraid to speak out. The POCSO Act has been in place. I need not dwell upon the various offences that are sought to be addressed by the POCSO Act, but I really feel that it is the duty of not only the parents but the teachers to make girl children aware of what a bad touch is, what a good touch is. I would like to ask any of the girl students, how many of you know what sexual abuse is? आप सभी को शिक्षा दिया जाता है सेक्सुअल अब्यूज क्या है? Just please think over when the interactive session starts. We would like to have an answer from you. How many of you know what is sexual abuse? If we don't tell them, these are very innocent minds. They would not be able to understand what the person in front of her intends to do. Therefore, I reiterate that this is not only the responsibility of the parents who are here, but also the teachers who are the gurus, as well as the community heads. They must inform the girl children of what their rights are. We need sensitization, especially among parents, teachers, doctors, as well as police officers. Parents and teachers should talk to children about good touch and bad touch. Schools should have regular awareness programs. Every adult in society must learn to believe and support a child who comes forward. Important to remember that the law mandates that anyone who knows about these must report it. Failing to do so is also a punishable offence under Section 21 of the POCSO Act. In small or close-knit communities, there is pressure to stay silent to protect the family's honor. We must always remember that the victim should never be blamed. Even if the legal case is strong, the child may carry emotional trauma for years, and access to child psychologists and trained counselors is crucial for healing. We must create a culture where children feel safe to speak up and know that the system is on their side. Moving on, another growing tragedy is the rapid rate of suicide in the islands. We heard yesterday Dr. Govind saying that there were about 180 suicides in the last 1 year. That means every alternate day there is one suicide. But we got to learn yesterday that there has been no study to find out how many suicidal deaths are by islanders and how many are by mainlanders. So therefore, if this study reveals that most of the suicidal deaths are by people who have come from outside seeking greener pastures here and have not been able to make a living and have committed suicide, well, that would have to be dealt with differently. But mainly what we have learnt yesterday is that the 4 prominent reasons are: 1, depression; 2, family disputes and love affairs; 3, financial problems and unemployment; and 4, addiction to alcohol or drugs. There is a 5th factor also which Dr. Govind yesterday pointed out, that there is lack of health care in the islands. If somebody is suffering from a terminal disease, he thinks it's better to put an end to his life. So these are problems which need to be addressed. Dr. Boito has given a wonderful presentation. He has also indicated what are the steps that are being taken to curb suicides. We must progress to ensure that suicidal deaths, if it is not possible for us to bring it down to at the minimum level, but at least it should be curbed. Now this has a problem with regard to mental health. Now we say that 309, now there's a decriminalization. Now after the new Indian Penal Code, which is the Sanhita, has come into force, there is no like provision as Section 309. Apart from that, the Mental Health Act also says that any person who attempts to commit suicide shall be presumed to be under severe stress and shall not be punished. This is Section 115 of the Mental Health Care Act, 2017. Therefore, instead of seeing it as an offense, we need to handle the situation with care so that the person who is under severe mental stress can be brought back to the mainstream. What does the Mental Health Care Act 2017 say? It says that there is a legal duty on the state to provide mental health care and rehabilitation for such persons. These include free treatment in government hospitals, community mental health programs, services even in rural and tribal areas. We need to break the silence around mental health and encourage schools and colleges to talk openly about mental well-being, train teachers, frontline workers and police to notice warning signs, set up helplines and counseling centers that are easily accessible. It is time we make it clear to every person, especially the youth, that they are not alone. Asking for help is not weakness, it is courage. Children are the future of our nation and an invaluable resource. So it is our duty to empower them with opportunities through education, not hinder their growth and psychological development through the regressive practice of child marriage, sexual abuse, as well as suicide. To protect our children from sexual abuse and to prevent the loss of lives due to suicide, we need more than laws, empathy, awareness, and action. The islands being full of natural beauty, let us act not with fear or shame, but with compassion, courage, and commitment. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thanks a lot, Your Lordship, for your words of wisdom, Your Lordship. Your Lordship has guided us, and Your Lordship, now we come to the presidential address by our Chief Guest, Honorable Justice Surya Kant, Judge Supreme Court of India and Executive Judge, Nalsa.
Honorable Mr. Justice Dipankar Datta, Judge Supreme Court of India and patron of the Andaman Nicobar State Legal Service Authority, as a representative of the National Legal Service Authority. Justice T.S. Shivagnanam, Honorable the Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court and Patron-in-Chief of Andaman and Nicobar State Legal Service Authority. Justice Sabyasachi Bhattacharya, Judge Calcutta High Court and Executive Chairman of the Andaman Nicobar State Legal Service Authority. Our two esteemed brothers from Calcutta High Court, Justice Jyoti Sen Gupta and Justice Bivas Patnaik, who are present among us. Mr. Bharat Parashar, Member Secretary, National Legal Service Authority. Dr. Ajit Attri, Director, National Legal Service Authority. Aarti Singh, ROSD in the National Legal Service Authority. Mr. Rashid Alam, Member Secretary of the Andaman Nicobar State Legal Service Authority. Mr. Banwari Shankar Sharma, Registrar of the High Court. Learned District and Sessions Judge and other judicial officers of the Andaman Nicobar Union Territory. We have also among us Madam Sri Dhu Pillai, Inspector General of Police and other senior police officers. And I can also see that some of the police officials of different ranks are also present. I am especially thankful for their presence here. Mr. Kumar, Secretary Law, Mr. Arjun Sharma, Deputy Commissioner, Mr. Vinod Kumar Yadav, Director Tribal Welfare Schemes are also present among us. Very distinguished President and other office bearers of the Andaman Nicobar Bar Association, who were also kind enough to join us yesterday at the Havelock, senior advocates and other members of the Andaman Nicobar Bar Association, principals, teachers, and other educationists from the education department and education institutions, eminent social workers, most importantly, my dear students and their parents, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, friends from media. A very good afternoon to all of you. I am thankful to Honorable the Chief Justice and Justice Sabyasachi Bhattacharya, especially for inviting me to be with you on this occasion. The issue is extremely sensitive. In fact, yesterday when we joined the program at Havelock, my brother Justice Dipankar Datta instructed me to speak much in Hindi there so that we could speak in a closer way with the audience and with the participants. I will try to speak here also in both the languages so that I can minimize the gap or communication gap at least between us. Dr. Kushal Vaidya in his report referred to the UNICEF, I think, Population Funds report of 2024 in order to sensitize and highlight a very grieving, a very serious cause of the children's abuse or suicide or other related issues in the Andaman Nicobar Island. The same report of 2024 also points out that 24% of the Indian population comprise children below the age of 14 years. Going by that data, our is a nation with more than 34.5 crore children who are below the age of 14 years. At one point of time, people thought that population is a big liability on any nation because you have to take care, you have to provide all kinds of amenities, basic needs of survival for them. But in due course of time, in India there has been a parallel realization that human power is also a big strength of our nation. And if that notion is to be believed and promoted, then we have to take into consideration that who is the most important or substantial component of that human resource to whom we want to convert into our nation's strength. And it is obvious that those almost 35% children who are below the age of 14 years is the substance, is the matter of concern for all of us. If we are able to provide good nutritious food, उनकी अच्छी health अगर हम रख पाएंगे, if we are able to provide them good education, जिसका हमने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में आर्टिकल 21A में फंडामेंटल राइट उनको दिया कि हमारे बच्चे 6 साल से 14 साल के बच्चों का हक है कि उनको मौलिक अधिकार है कि शिक्षा उनको मिले. And if we want them to be hale and hearty and to become, as my brother Justice Dipankar Datta and other speakers pointed out, that they are the tomorrow's doctors, engineers, bureaucrats, police officers, lawyers, judges, intellectuals, our corporate entities. We have to really think about the challenges which that huge class of our total population is facing. And in that context, it becomes a social responsibility of all the stakeholders, whether it is the administration, whether it is the judiciary, whether it is the statutory authorities like State Legal Service Authority or the National Legal Service Authority, educationist, education department, social welfare department, other educational institutions, panchayats, municipal bodies, whomsoever you name, there is a big joint responsibility on all the stakeholders to ensure that that big asset of ours, that below 14 years of children are catered, they are nurtured, and they are protected and promoted in an environment that our dream, our effort, or our vision of converting them as are the biggest human resource comes to be true. And it is in that context, the facts and figure, which yesterday also the learned doctor who gave a presentation about the Havelock or about the island, and today also Dr. Kushal Vaidya has given, that gives some disheartened, disturbing and disappointing questions that we are confronted with. As you must have seen, the subject experts, the doctor, the child specialist, the psychiatrist, social scientists, even the school educationist, and yesterday we were so pleasant during the interaction that some of the social workers of this island are so well informed, they have so much hard work investment they have made in the society, that even they are also aware of the different causes that are leading to either the suicide of the children, or to their malnutrition, or to their lack of education, or their indulging in drug, or to their the most concerned disturbing factor of the child abuse. My brother Justice Dipankar Datta has already pointed out very briefly those reasons which Dr. Saab has joined us. See, yesterday explained to us, and Dr. Kushal has explained today. Having identified these causes, the point is very simple, that is it not our responsibility to take immediate steps to address those issues? And the very purpose of organizing this event today is that let us sit together, let us discuss, let us hear from those who represents that class or community of the children who are facing these challenges. Some of these children are with us today. They are their representatives. It is their peer, it is their friends, it is their class fellows, it is their neighborhood children who are ultimately suffering these problems. So they are the best persons to tell about that agony, that circumstances in which these things happen, and is it also a matter of in fact interaction and debate that we must have with among us, that the reasons or the causes which have been identified by the subject specialist or the domain experts, is it that these are the only reasons leading to these social challenges before us, or there are something more which need to be addressed and looked into by all of us? As all of you know, my brother Justice Dipankar Datta has already pointed out, and I am repeating it, we are not here before as Supreme Court judges. We are not here before as Chief Justice of the High Court or judges of the High Court. We are here because Parliament, through the National Legal Service Authority Act, through the State Legal Service Authority compositions, they have put a responsibility on us. And those responsibilities, जब आप इस एक्ट को देखेंगे, आपको कोई इनको जब कोई आपको पढ़ाएगा, तो उसमें दो चीज़ें आपको मिलेंगी. सेक्शन 4 में जो हमारी नेशनल लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी है, वहाँ पे कोई नॉर्मली जब भी आप देखेंगे कोई आप पार्लियामेंट का एक्ट आपको कोई दिखाएगा या स्टेट लेजिस्लेशन का कोई एक्ट आपको दिखाएगा तो उसमें आएगा कि पावर्स क्या क्या है किसी की। यहाँ पार्लियामेंट ने बहुत सोच समझ करके शब्द पावर यूज नहीं किया, उन्होंने फंक्शन यूज किया है। उन्होंने ड्यूटी भी यूज नहीं की। ड्यूटी में तो आपके ऊपर ऑब्लिगेशन नहीं बनता, ड्यूटी में तो आपसे एक एक्सपेक्टेशन है। सो पार्लियामेंट हैज वेरी कॉन्शियसली यूज द वर्ड that what are the functions of the National Legal Service Authority, and मैं उन functions में से लंबी लिस्ट में से आपके दो बातें उसमें आपको बताना चाहूँगा। एक फंक्शन दिया उन्होंने to organize legal aid camps especially in rural areas, slums or labor colonies with the dual purpose of educating the weaker sections of the society as to their rights and to encourage them to solve them. And the other equally important was to take appropriate measures for spreading legal literacy and legal awareness among the people, and in particular to educate weaker sections of the society about the rights, benefits and privileges guaranteed by social welfare legislations and other enactments, as well as administrative programs and measures. So Parliament what expects from us is कि इतने लॉ बनाए हैं, उन लॉज में डिफरेंट किस्म के राइट्स दिए गए हैं, पर उन राइट्स को जो हमारे डिफरेंट सेक्शंस ऑफ सोसाइटी हैं उनको राइट्स मिलते भी हैं कि नहीं, उसके लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी गई है उसको एग्जामिन करने के लिए और उसके लिए स्टेप्स लेने के लिए। और उन स्टेप्स में क्या है, ये वही एक स्टेप है आज कि हम आपके पास आए हैं ये बात पूछने के लिए कि चाइल्ड मैरिज एक्ट है, चाइल्ड एब्यूज के अगेंस्ट बहुत बड़ा एक प्रोविजन है, उसके अंदर बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रिजेंट एक्शन है, सजाएं उसमें बहुत बड़ी हैं। उनके बावजूद, इसे कानून बनने के बावजूद इस किस्म के ये ऑफेंस क्यों कमिट हो जाते हैं, ऐसी सामाजिक समस्याएं क्यों हमारे सामने आती हैं ऐसे सख्त कानून होने के बावजूद भी। तो ये इवेल्युएट करना, इसको एग्जामिन करना, उसका समाधान फाइंड आउट करना, उन रीजंस को आइडेंटिफाई करके उन रीजंस को सॉल्व करना, ये सारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हम लोगों को पार्लियामेंट ने इस एक्ट के थ्रू हमें दी है। और उस रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को पूरा करने के लिए डिफरेंट स्टेक होल्डर्स की सपोर्ट, कोऑपरेशन, कोलैबोरेशन और कमिटमेंट की ज़रूरत है। तो हम जहाँ पर जाते हैं तो जितने स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं हम उनसे प्रार्थना करते हैं, उनको हम आह्वान करते हैं, उनको अपील करते हैं कि आप हमारे साथ जुड़िए और हमारी इसमें मदद कीजिए। और हम आपके पास इसलिए आते हैं कि आप और हमारे बीच ये दूरी ना लगे कि हम जज हैं और आप जैसे यहाँ पे कोई ऐसी कोई बात करने में झिझकेंगे जो आप जज से नहीं कर सकते। तो हम एक सामाजिक सेवक, एक सामाजिक कार्यकर्ता के रूप में आज आपके सामने हैं। तो हम स्पीच के थ्रू नहीं, आपसे इंटरेक्ट करके, आपसे सीधे आपसे हम प्रार्थना करेंगे, आपसे अपील करेंगे कि आप हमसे क्वेश्चंस कीजिए, आप अपनी समस्याएं बताइए। और हम जो सिविल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के, पुलिस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के, जुडिशरी के जो लोग यहाँ पर बैठे हैं, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के तीनों जो ऑर्गन्स हैं उनके रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं, उनकी हेल्प के साथ, उनके साथ कोऑर्डिनेशन के साथ हम उन प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व करने की आपके लिए कोशिश करें, इस प्रबल इच्छा के साथ, इस कमिटमेंट के साथ दैट वी आर प्रेजेंट हियर बिफोर यू। ये क्यों ये सारा जितने कानून बने और उन कानून की इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की पार्लियामेंट को क्यों चिंता हुई जिसके लिए एक्ट बनाया गया, वो इसलिए हुई कि when we constituted, when we gave our constitution to ourselves, because our constitution is unique one where the people of the India, they have given that constitution to themselves। और उस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में हमने समानता का राइट दिया, इक्वलिटी का राइट हमने उसमें दिया। इक्वलिटी के राइट में सोशल जस्टिस का भी राइट आया, पॉलिटिकल जस्टिस का राइट आया, इकोनॉमिक जस्टिस का राइट आया। आपको याद होगा कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली में जिसमें तकरीबन 300 मेंबर्स थे, 15 उसमें हमारी महिलाएं मेंबर थी, and one of the member was Hansa Mehta from, at that time the Bombay state used to be there. Hansa Mehta, one of the elected member of the Constituent Assembly, she fought for the right of equality for women and children. To my mind, a big part of Article 15 is something for which lot of compliment and contribution goes to those women members who were so socially conscious, so visionary, so committed to the cause of equality that they fought for it, and those provisions were incorporated. Following those provisions, that various special laws, welfare laws have been enacted, and to ensure that those laws are implemented, as I said, the Parliament has enacted this law. Therefore, let us understand this constitutional, this legislative, this social commitment of the constitution makers and take necessary steps in that direction. I hope each one of you, with open mind and without any hesitation or reluctance in mind, will participate in the discussion, for which we will prefer to spend more time with you. Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my views. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thanks a lot, Your Lordship. His Lordship highlighted the fact that the children needs to be protected, and it is the collective responsibility of all of us. His Lordship also highlighted that the Legal Services Authority Act 1987 under Section 4 provide the functions of the authority, and under that particular provision we are here today in the conference. His Lordship also highlighted the contribution of Hansa Mehta, and now with the permission of the Honorable Chair, can we open the fora for the discussion?
Yes. Only one request to all the, particularly to the children, they need not to disclose their identity, they need not to give their particulars. They can even write the question on a piece of paper, can send, or even if they want to ask a question, they need not to disclose their identity to us. Therefore, they should be free in mind to ask any question which they feel relevant in the today's context. Thank you.
And my request to the cameraman would be, don't focus on the children. If the officers are putting questions, you can move the camera towards them. But when children are asking questions, you should focus on this side. Don't facilitate identification of the children.
Thank you, Lordship. Now we request the question from the participants, and the rules of the question answer session shall be that each participant, if he wants to raise a question, must raise his hand, and the question must be specific, relevant to the subject and the conference, and if the question is replied by the same question need not to be repeated by the other participant. आप हिंदी में भी पूछ सकते हैं सवाल, अंग्रेजी में पूछ सकते हैं, और कोई बांग्ला में भी पूछ सकते हैं, और इवन जो आपकी मातृभाषा तमिल तेलुगु में भी पूछ सकते हैं. बस कोई भी सवाल पर्टिकुलर पिन पॉइंट करके नहीं पूछना है. जो कोई सवाल आज की संगोष्ठी को लेकर के, आज के विषयों को लेकर के है, वो सवाल आप पूछ सकते हैं. हमारे जो वॉलंटियर्स हैं वो आपके पास जाएंगे, तो हम सवाल आमंत्रित करते हैं. Any stakeholder who wants to put a question, please raise hand. अच्छा,
कुछ क्वेश्चंस हमारे पास आए हैं. One of our dear daughter, she has asked a question that what are the physical sign of abuse and addiction of drugs? Physical abuse, all the my dear students, you will be able to find out. If you will, in fact, we will request the school teachers who are present here that, and of course our paralegal volunteers also, and we will request the Legal Service Authority also. In fact, yesterday we have already requested to that a simple booklet defining all these the offenses के कैसे एक चाइल्ड अब्यूज एक्ट, कैसे सेक्सुअल अब्यूज का एक्ट क्या माना जाएगा, उसमें क्या क्या उसके इंग्रेडिएंट्स हैं, उनके ऊपर आपको एक दिया जाए. इसमें मैं सिर्फ आपको सेक्शन 7 जो प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ चिल्ड्रन फ्रॉम सेक्सुअल ऑफेंस एक्ट 2012 है, उसको अगर आप पढ़ेंगे तो यू विल फाइंड इट सेज whoever with sexual intent touches private parts so and the child or makes the child touch the private parts of such person or any other person or does any other act with sexual intent which involves physical contact, he will be guilty of committing this sexual assault. So definition parliament ने बहुत wide बनाया है. उसमें हर किस्म की जो कोई गलत नियत के साथ अगर कोई हरकत करता है तो वो सेक्शन 7 के एम्बिट में आ जाता है. मेरा रिक्वेस्ट रहेगा कि इसको सिंपल लैंग्वेज में, डायरेक्टर एजुकेशन भी हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं और डायरेक्टर सोशल वेलफेयर भी हैं और लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी के एग्जीक्यूटिव चेयरपर्सन साहब हैं, चीफ जस्टिस साहब हैं, तो ये आपको सिंपल टन लैंग्वेज में उसकी एक बुकलेट बना करके वी हैव ऑलरेडी a kind of a resolution has been taken, we will circulate, and that will give you the simple definition so that each child must be aware and should be conscious of this fact that what kind of act would fall within the mischief of the physical abuse or the as they called it, sexual assault.
I have a suggestion for the administration that why don't you arrange a program where all the participants would be girl students. You have a lady doctor, you have a lady psychologist, a lady prosecutor, because they will be more comfortable with their aunties rather than people like us. And it is for them to explain to all the girl students what they should be expecting from mischievous people and how to guard themselves against such activities. Madam Babita, you are now the government leader. You have the public prosecutor also. Why don't you? You are also there. But this has to be a continuous process. You just can't stop with one program, right? So you have to involve. Dr. Govind is also there today. No, Dr. Pooja Govind. She's there. She has come. So therefore, I feel that, it should be in a congenial atmosphere where they can speak out. Otherwise, we can't stop this menace. So please try to arrange these programs whenever possible. And from the police administration also, madam, some high-ranking female police officer may also be deputed because they can share their experiences. Right? Director Education.
I think, yes, exactly. Madam Pillai is here and Director Vikram. You can constitute a team of the exclusively of women officers that may include the learned public prosecutors and the government pleaders, Dr. Govind, and some lady police officers who are well conversant. I mean, they are supposed to and they must be well conversant. They should be articulate enough to explain in simple language that what will constitute this kind of offense under and abuse that will fall within the mischief of then section 7 or other provisions of the act.
Whoever has put this question, we thank you very much for being frank. Now, you want to put a question?
Very good afternoon to everyone. So, sir, when me and my classmates reached here, we were discussing regarding the topic specifically. So, adding or connecting towards our own area of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, one of the girls added this fact that she herself has witnessed that the family members manipulated a girl's age in the identity card. It was an Aadhaar card or whatsoever, and because of that, like, they used a shortcut or a loophole. The age of the girl was manipulated, and then she was ultimately a child marriage occurred. So please guide me over the same. Another thing I observed from my island is that even the girls do attain the age of 18. And even my classmates I have seen with whom I had studied, after their passing of the 12th standard, they attained their age of 18, but I felt they were married. But I just felt that they didn't attain that kind of maturity. So please guide me over these two things. Thank you.
Beta, your one question that despite attaining the age of 18, it's not necessary that the girl would gain maturity. Personally speaking, I think each one of will agree with you that there is nothing like a magic wand that on the 18th birthday something will happen and some great thing will happen. But the law has, in its wisdom, the parliament, the legislature has provided a cut-off date that when the offence. But now we can only explain to you that the law as developed in some of the judgments is that it's not something like, for example, there is a juvenile who in a particular age he commits an offence. The law has now developed that it's not necessary that he will be entitled to the benefit of being a juvenile, because if he is committing the offence with the intent that as if he is a major, then law may take its own course against him. So I think these are the social and legal principles which in due course of time will definitely develop. But yes, the society, that includes the parents, the teachers, all stakeholders, they must in principle agree with you that only because somebody has attained the age of 18 may not be mature, may not be a certification of mature. It's only for the purpose of to define a crime that the law has provided this cut-off kind of age. And that so long as the law says so, we will have to respect it.
Regarding your other question, that if Aadhaar card or something else is manipulated, you come to know, then there are helplines where you can intimate. There are child protection officers also. I'll request the police authorities, please to share the helplines. Right now, you can, if you have that right now, or you can circulate it in the schools so that they are displayed in public places. So that if you come to know any such sort of manipulation to give a child in marriage, you can intimate, just give a call to that helpline. Do nothing else. You can do that. And do you have it with you right now, the helpline? Any number?
If it is there, so we can show on the screen.
Before the program is over, if you can do that, before the program is over, we'll hand over the mic to you. And please just share that helpline right now so that they can write it down.
And even your lordship, we can show on the screen also, if they are.
Do that, and it will be circulated and displayed, can be displayed in public places. The Director of Education can please take note of that. Has to be displayed in public places in all the schools. Thank you. NALSA helpline is 15100. You can take that down. That is the National Legal Services Authority.
1098.
The other is 1098 is the local helpline. Thank you, officer. 1092 is the first one. 1098 and 112. Please, all of you just take down 1098 is the specific helpline. 1098. All the students please write it down, and the parents also can, the teachers. And 112 is the general helpline. You can contact either of these. And thank you very much for that question.
There is one.
Sir, just, please. This is the question to the members of the bar. What has been your experience? The first question, that there has been manipulation in the Aadhaar card to show a girl child as an adult and thereafter get her married. How many such cases have you received? So therefore, this proves that people in the community, despite being aware of such a misdeed, they don't report it.
Maybe, my lord, I don't ignore or don't disagree to it, but as far as I am concerned and my practice is concerned, I can say very well with all candid honesty that no, I have not come across any such type of cases. And in Andaman, honestly speaking, again from bottom of my heart, I have not come across to any single child marriage till date.
You see, this kind of
Yes,
cases,
in POCSO cases, of course, because the age are under 18.
There is no single case of child marriage in
No, I
Andaman.
have not come across in my professional life. Honestly speaking, I have not come across.
Achha, Mr. Kabir wants to say something?
My lord, there are two things here. The first part of it is with regard to age manipulations. The cases that I have seen on the criminal side are usually not related to child marriage. The age manipulation can have many reasons, starting from exams to some certificate which will help you later in life. It can even be an error because in a lot of places here, the records that are maintained are not very great. So now you have the digital systems, you have the databases, everything. But in those days, a lot of people in Andamans don't even have an official birth certificate. So the age manipulation part of it is not specifically for this, but there are these things for other reasons. And that's probably a larger problem. The second part of it, with regard to the child marriage aspect, is something which we discussed in the last conference. The SP and I, we were both speakers there. We have to also appreciate that Andamans has certain unique sort of considerations that exist. So child marriage and these aspects per se in Andamans is not a systemic problem. So when Mr. Govind says there aren't that many cases of that sort, or perhaps none, I do not think you would find many prosecutions with relation to Child Marriage Act. What there is something slightly different. Now, if I may just take a minute here to explain what I was talking about. There are 2 or 3 things which have changed in the islands since your lordships have been coming here. The first is that we got the underwater cable, that CANI, Chennai Andaman Underwater Internet Cable. The minute that happened, you had free and open access to the internet. So please remember those days when you could come here and it would take 1 hour to download a photograph or to send a message. Now from there you went to a situation where everyone has a smartphone, everyone is suddenly exposed to the internet and all the beauties of the internet. So that has had a certain effect, and because of that there's a certain degree of exposure also which children, students are having, which was not there in Andamans before. A. B. So far as the aspect of relationships are concerned and the aspect of children who are actually having certain sort of interactions with the opposite sexes, this is a new thing also. Because as far as Andamans is concerned, when you look at it in the context of offences and child marriages, it's actually not there. It is a very different situation because here you have co-educational schools, you have a lot of mixing, you have people who are very free. So it's not actually a serious situation with regard to offences. And the other thing which we also discussed at this conference was with regard to certain elements of the tribal norms and values, certain other cultural aspects, certain things which are unique to the socio-economic situation in the islands which are not there in the mainland. So given, pretty much in the Nicobars as well. So given that situation, how much of this is offense related with a mala fide criminal intention and how much of it has certain other significances, there would be some distinction here in the cases we deal with.
Mr. Kabir, you have flagged very good issues. I'd like to just elaborate on that. In the Nicobar Islands, we are repeating that from the last program. In the Nicobar Islands, there is a normalization of child marriage. It's accepted in the customs in many cases. So there are several aspects to it, and most of those are sensitive, a bit sensitive. Because society accepts child marriage, nobody comes up and complains. But there, I suppose, in my limited perception, that it's more of a problem of, rather than an offense, lack of awareness. So we have to popularize and publicize these things, that these are offenses, and not only that, the cons, the ill effects of child marriage, the effect on the mother and the child when a child gives birth to a child. These things, it's more a question of social awareness in Nicobar. two things. One is that the ill effects of child marriage and a child's future, a girl's future is wasted in a sort of way, because she does not get a proper education, her childhood is marred, financial stability does not come. Awareness, one aspect. Second aspect is an element of a deterrent, by instilling a little bit of fear by saying that these are illegal. If somebody, because there is an aspect of reporting in the Child Marriage Act also, if somebody comes to know and reports, even if the parties, complicit parties don't, then you may be penalized. So these two awareness aspects have to be there in Nicobar Islands mostly. So therefore we have to think about from that angle also. Thank you.
There is one question. एक बेटी ने पूछा है, और ये डॉक्टर गोविंद से रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे that if she can respond to it. The question asked is, अधिकतर सुसाइड का कारण मेंटल हेल्थ का ठीक न होना होता है, तो सर आप हमें कोई दो बेस्ट तरीके बताइए जिससे हम मेंटली हेल्दी रह सकें और गलत कदम न उठाएं.
जी सर, स्टूडेंट हैज आस्क्ड सर.
यस.
तो मेंटल हेल्थ, सुसाइड इज जस्ट द आइसबर्ग, मतलब जो ऊपर में दिखाई देता है, उसके नीचे में मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज कुछ ना कुछ बच्चों में जो सुसाइड करते हैं उनमें रहता ही है. डिप्रेशन, एंग्जाइटी, जैसे या पर्सनालिटी इश्यूज. तो अगर इसको आइडेंटिफाई करना है, फर्स्ट इज कि वो लोग रिपोर्ट करेंगे, कोई ना कोई बोलेगा कभी ना कभी कि आई फील लाइक एंडिंग माई लाइफ, क्योंकि लोग रिपोर्ट करते हैं. और पहला अटेम्प्ट शायद से बहुत छोटा सा कुछ अटेम्प्ट हो सकता है जो वो लोग करते हैं, उसके बाद वाला अटेम्प्ट हमेशा से कुछ ना कुछ बड़ा होता है, विच इज़ नॉट बीइंग सीन बाय द फैमिली मेम्बर और द people do keep reporting कि there is I feel like ending my life, I feel like ending my life, people, but they are being ignored and such people do commit suicide. तो इससे बचने के लिए the best thing is, जब भी आप देख रहे हैं किसी को कि वो दुखी रहते हैं या कम बात कर रहे हैं या बोल रहे हैं, सुसाइडल थॉट आ रहा है, तो उसको जितना जल्दी हो सके उसे रिपोर्ट करना है. वो आप अपने स्कूल टीचर को कर सकते हैं, कॉलेज टीचर को कर सकते हैं, या हमारे पास टेलीमानस हेल्पलाइन नंबर है जिसमें अगर आपको कुछ भी ऐसे लगे कि स्टिग्मा है या कुछ भी आप नहीं आ पा रहे हैं ओपीडी में दिखाने के लिए, तो आप हमें कॉल कर सकते हैं. वो नंबर में वो है 14416, वो टोल फ्री नंबर है, उसमें कॉल कर सकते हैं. दूसरा, सुसाइडल थॉट तक अगर चला गया है किसी का, तो ही हैज़ टू रिपोर्ट टू अस एंड कम टू एंड सी अस. मतलब वी कैन नॉट गिव सम विच इज़ होम बेस्ड टू टेक केयर ऑफ सुसाइडल थॉट्स. तो इट इज़ बेटर टू सी अ साइकोलॉजिस्ट और साइकेट्रिस्ट फॉर ट्रीटमेंट.
I'd like to add something. It's a very practical tip which I came across. कल हमारा एक दूसरा प्रोग्राम था हैवलॉक में, वहाँ पर स्वरा जिप पे, वहाँ पर एक लेडी ने ये सजेशन दिए, सोशल वर्कर, कि स्पोर्ट्स में, फिजिकल स्पोर्ट्स में, आउटडोर स्पोर्ट्स या जिसमें फिजिकल एक्टिविटी हो, उसमें ज़्यादातर पार्टिसिपेट कीजिए. क्योंकि आजकल जो हो रहा है, दो चीज़ें हो रहा है. एक, कंस्ट्रक्शन आ रही है, रियल एस्टेट आ रहा है, पार्क्स, खेलने का जगह कम रहा है. और दूसरा जो है वो इंटरनेट पे हम लोग, दो आदमी पास में बैठ के बात कर रहा है, हाथ में फ़ोन है, सभी समय फ़ोन देख रहा है. सो इंटरनेट में वो आर्टिफिशियल जो लाइफ है, वर्चुअल रियलिटी है, उससे ज़रा निकलिए और थोड़ा सा टाइम डिवोट कीजिए. अपने पर्टिकुलरली स्टूडेंट्स को बोल रहा हूँ, फिजिकल एक्टिविटीज़, फिजिकल स्पोर्ट्स में ज़्यादातर पार्टिसिपेट कीजिए. जितना करेंगे आपका जो हार्मोनल बूस्ट होगा, हेल्दी हार्मोन्स बूस्ट होगा, एंडोर्फिन एक होता है हार्मोन, वो रिलीज़ होगा, आपका फील गुड फैक्टर बढ़ जाएगा. सुइसाइडल जो इंस्टिंक्ट्स, जो इंक्लिनेशंस है, वो कम जाएगा, थोड़ा थोड़ा घट जाएगा. फिजिकल स्पोर्ट्स में ज़्यादातर पार्टिसिपेट कीजिए. ये बहुत प्रैक्टिकल टिप है, बेसिक टिप है, लेकिन बहुत प्रैक्टिकल टिप है, करके देखिए.
Taking a cue from Justice Bhattacharya, this is only for the administration. In Havelock, we did not find a single playground. There is only one playground just behind the market, but hardly anybody plays. So, the same problems are there. The administration should look into it and make more playgrounds available. If not playgrounds, because space is always a problem. Gymnasiums and all these things. Organized tournaments, you can devote some attention to it, right? Dr. Boito, there is a question from a student. What are the physical signs that a person is addicted to drugs? So if you can please address them and let them know so that they can be aware.
Thank you for the question. So whenever a person is taking substances could include tobacco, alcohol, or any other substance like methamphetamine or cannabis. What they primarily do is it changes neurotransmitters in brain. They change some balance. They change the neurotransmitters as well as the neurocircuits which run in brain. So what happens? It tends to change your behavior. There may be physical symptoms. There may be psychological symptoms. Psychological symptoms will include irritability. Maybe person is depressed, irritable, decreased interest in work. There may be academic decline. There is loss of interest in studies. There may be forgetfulness and sleep disturbances. So those are the psychological symptoms. Apart from that, there may be physical symptoms. For example, if person is intoxicated, but he has consumed alcohol or any other substances, there may be subtle signs like redness of eyes. It is not necessarily that all the substance will produce same signs. There may be tremors. The person may be very anxious, very restless. At the same time, if a person is continuously taking some substance and attempts to decrease the use of substances, for example, somebody is taking alcohol daily or maybe weekly 4 or 5 times and has reduced his amount of alcohol, he may experience withdrawals. That means the brain is asking for more substance to remain normal. For example, the person may have tremors, excessive sweating, and then palpitations, heartbeats, more heartbeats. Then he may have increased BP, blood pressure, and he may have other signs like decreased concentration. Okay, so these are different kinds of substance produce different kinds of withdrawals, as well as when you are intoxicated, he may be agitated also, the person may be agitated also. Risk-taking behavior may increase also. So usually these are common symptoms where you will find a person who is under either intoxicated or withdrawal. He may not appear normal. If you know him personally, he won't appear what he usually appears to be. Thank you.
All the helpline numbers are now displayed, and we will request the students and the parents or the teachers, they may please note down and always keep them saved. If you are carrying a mobile, then it should be in your mobile, or you can just manually note down, and you should always keep these numbers with you, because you might require to help anyone at any point of time.
Yes. ये नंबर देखते रहेगा स्क्रीन पर, और कोई अगला सवाल कोई पूछना चाहे?
अभी है,
प्लीज.
There are two very brilliant students present here, and both have asked questions which are kind of complementary and supplementary to each other. The first question is, and probably the administration will have to respond to it. The question is that some drugs and tobacco products are available near our school. These are becoming freely available. How can we stop them? Very intelligent question. And the second question, drugs, tobacco, alcohol सब इतना खतरनाक है, फिर भी इन पर बैन क्यों नहीं लगता? These are all kind of legislative or executive domain questions. Stakeholders में local administration को शायद इस पे कुछ डिसीजन लेना पड़ेगा. एक रिक्वेस्ट हम जरूर आपसे करेंगे. पुलिस एंड सिविल बोथ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन आर हियर. ये जितना भी प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, टोबैको है, सिगरेट्स की दुकान है, पान की दुकान है, ये कम से कम स्कूल्स और एजुकेशन जितने भी इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, कोई पॉलिटेक्निक है, अदर एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, उनसे इनकी डिस्टेंस को आप दूर कीजिए. कल भी वहाँ पे इशू आया था, और इस पे अगर स्टेट लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी की कोई हेल्प की आपको ज़रूरत है तो जस्टिस भट्टाचार्य एंड ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस बोथ आर दे आर ऑलवेज willing to extend their helping hand, and they will be there to provide you any kind of logistic assistance that may be required in this regard. But make sure please that at least these shops are not visible in and around the institutions. ये बच्चों को we would like to of course tell them, ये टोबैको का बेचना, और टोबैको से सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट तो ये जो अल्कोहल का बेचने वाला है, ये इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी का मैटर है. स्टेट्स को इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा एक्साइज और टैक्स मिलता है, और स्टेट का एक उनका कहना ये होता है कि हम ये इनकम जनरेट करके डेवलपमेंट पे लगाते हैं, जो रोड बनाते हैं, हॉस्पिटल बनाते हैं, इंस्टीट्यूशंस बनाते हैं, इसके लिए हमें जो टैक्स कलेक्ट करना है तो उसमें एक्साइज का बहुत बड़ा रोल है. अब इस पे हम कोई कमेंट नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि ये एक लेजिस्लेटिव और एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पॉलिसी का इशू है. तो ये कारण लेकिन यही बताया जाता है कि इसमें दूसरा एक इसका कारण और भी बताते हैं ये लोग, उसमें भी ऐसी बात नहीं है, इनकी बात में भी बड़ा सब्सटेंस है, दम है. वही बोलते हैं कि अगर हम ये लाइसेंस अल्कोहल बेचना बंद करवा देंगे तो लोग इलिसिट गलत तरीके से उसको बनाना शुरू करेंगे. और आपको हुस ट्रेजडीज आपने पेपर्स में पढ़ी होंगी कि जो घर में या किसी ने गलत तरीके से बनाई हुई शराब पी करके सडनली कितने लोगों की, इनोसेंट लोगों की ऐसे डेथ हो जाती है, तो परिवार उसमें बर्बाद हो जाते हैं. तो उसमें भी इनका एक दावा है, लेकिन ये कैसे उसको बैलेंसिंग कर सकते हैं ये एक पॉलिसी मैटर है. इकोनॉमिक कह लीजिए, एक स्टेट की फाइनेंशियल इशू से रिलेटेड या उनकी लेजिस्लेटिव और एग्जीक्यूटिव पॉलिसी का मैटर है. वी विल लीव टू देम टू थिंक ओवर इट that how to proceed on it.
A question from a student which has to be answered by either Dr. Boido or by Dr. Govind. To both the doctors, I'm just reading out the question. This is something which we can't answer from here. मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहती हूँ कि मेंटली चैलेंज्ड बच्चों को के साथ एब्यूज़ होता है तो वो कुछ कह नहीं पाते हैं क्योंकि उन्हें पता ही नहीं चलता कि उनके साथ क्या बुरा हो रहा है, और उन्हें ये भी नहीं पता कि गुड टच या बैड टच क्या होते हैं. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Thank you very much. Whoever has put this question, thank you very much.
Very thank you for the question. Actually, intellectually disabled people are very vulnerable to.
Sorry, डॉक्टर साहब मैं इंटरप्ट कर रहा हूँ. आप ना जैसे हिंदी में सवाल आया है तो आप हिंदी में जवाब दीजिए so that कि सभी तो सर.
So जो लोग जिनको इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेबिलिटी या मेंटल रिटार्डेशन जिनको कहते हैं, तो जिनको भी ये बीमारी तो नहीं कहेंगे क्योंकि बचपन से ही होता है, डिसेबिलिटी होता है. तो जो लोग भी ऐसे, उनको बचपन से ही बहुत वल्नरेबल होते हैं वो लोग. किसके लिए? एब्यूज़ बहुत तरह का होता है, फिजिकल एब्यूज़, इमोशनल एब्यूज़, सेक्सुअल एब्यूज़, ये तीनों प्रकार से. और ये बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट होता है कि जो उनके पेरेंट्स हैं, तो पेरेंट्स को साइको एजुकेट करना, उसके बारे में जानना. और कई बार अनजाने में ही वो लोग एब्यूज़ कर देते हैं, अपनी हदें पार कर देते हैं. जो केयर टेकर होता है वो करता है. तो ये बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है. जैसे वेस्टर्न सेटअप में होता है, बच्चों का चाइल्ड केयर फैसिलिटीज़ बहुत अच्छा होता है, हमारे यहाँ बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस हैं. जैसे कि जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, जो लोग उसमें लगेंगे, जो बच्चों को हर वीक जाके ऐसे जो स्पेशल बच्चे हैं उनको कांटेक्ट करके उनका वेयर अबाउट्स पूछेंगे कि वो ठीक हैं कि नहीं है. ऐसा कुछ फ्यूचर में हो तो हमें भी हम भी यही आशा करते हैं कि फ्यूचर में हमारे देश में भी ऐसा कुछ होगा. बट प्राइमरीली क्या है कि एजुकेशन विल ward off all the sins which is involved in abuse from schools, students, teachers. और इस तरह का अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम या जो भी प्रोग्राम है जहाँ पे हम अवेयरनेस होता है, दिस विल अवेयर द पीपल अगेंस्ट abuses which they don't even consider that this can be considered abuse. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sir.
There has been another very interesting question, and we are very thankful to the students. Today the questions are coming, very deep. Now the question is that my concern, I'm reading it out exactly as it is. My concern is for the rising suicide rate in Andaman. I personally believe that it is more prevalent among the teenage and young males of Andaman, majorly caused by loan failures and school dropouts, who are overburdened with financial responsibility. Now the question is so important. Now my question is that when there are counseling taking place in schools, colleges and in other institutions, where would the school dropouts go? Who are not connected with any institution, where would they go? Thank you whoever has asked it. It's a very, very intelligent question, and in my limited way, with the permission of the seniors, I'll just answer that. Thank you very much for this question, for opening our eyes. We as adults have closed our eyes till now. Yes, we conduct it in schools. Now we have to, there has to be programs. Has to be does not mean anything. We'll do it definitely. All help from the legal services authorities in collaboration with the school education director as well as the administration, and if necessary police authorities also. We have to conduct programs beyond schools, mental health counseling for children as well as adults. So definitely thank you very much for the suggestions. We'll go ahead with this, and so that to ensure that we cannot help the poverty, but we can create situations regarding so that people get their rights. Regarding suppose somebody has been sacked from his service illegally, those remedies we can put forward so that poverty at that level can be alleviated. But regarding counseling, definitely we'll hold counseling outside school, mental health for children as well as adults, with help of school education director and police and other authorities, administration. Thank you very much.
I will just supplement it only by pointing out that you need to identify, for which the local administration and legal service authority can work together, to identify the organized or unorganized workplace where the children who, you see, we need not to go at this stage into the question whether the children below the age of 18, 16 have been employed or not. Let us first concern about it that if they have been employed, let us first provide them the first kind of a first aid or the emergency assistance which they need in this regard. The child has asked this question that what about those dropouts. So first it can be only at the organized or unorganized workplaces where the children, it may be like a shop, it may be where some kind of small scale industrial unit, or it may be in auto rickshaw or any kind of employment where the even where the auto shops are there, in car washing or something, the children are being employed at different places. So we need to identify those workplaces and then think of how to reach out to them.
Thank you, Lordship.
There is one very, again a very important question, and that shows how the the sentiments and the genuine, most genuine grievance of the children. A child has pointed out that एक्ट तो बना है, awareness program भी है, schools में बहुत सिखाया भी जाता है, और ये भी बताया जाता है sexual abuse, good touch या bad touch के बारे में regularly, पर इसके बावजूद पॉक्सो के केस दिन भर बढ़ते ही जा रहे हैं. इसको कंट्रोल करने के लिए मेजर्स क्या हैं? It's a very important question, and it's a question not to one and all, it's a question to the entire society. It's something that requires a lot of introspection among all of us, that who are really responsible to fight out this evil. And we have been given different kind of role to play in this regard, and I think we will say to the very intelligent child, very deep thought question she has or he has asked. The answer may not be possible like this in few words. This is something that all the stakeholders need to sit together and find out. And I only said one thing, that do we need to identify some issues and some causes which are beyond what have been identified by the subject experts, whether the psychologists, whether the doctors or the psychiatrists or the social scientists? Maybe some other reasons are also there. For example, economic factor sometimes plays a role. So those persons who are dealing with who are economists, social economists, they might be in a position to tell us. The parents might be in a position, elder people might be in a position. So we have to identify really and search out that what can be the other possible reasons, and maybe that it requires a lot of deliberations among all of us, and then to find out a better solution to it. Another question, again very important question. मेरा सवाल ये है कि आजकल के जो जनरेशन है, यंगस्टर्स एंड स्टूडेंट्स के बहुत ज़्यादा सुसाइड के सामने आ रहे हैं. सरकार और एनजीओ इस काम करने के लिए बहुत सारी काउंसलिंग करते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी ये कम नहीं हो रहा. मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप कुछ ऐसा सजेशन दें जिससे कम करने में इफेक्टिव हो. Can you, Dr. Govind or Dr. Vaid, give some a very capsuled answer to it? The question is very important.
जैसे कि आप जानते हैं कि जो डाटा हमको भी मिलता है, जैसे कि एनसीआरबी का डाटा जो पूल होके सारे स्टेट से जाता है, सो डाटा दो तरह से एग्जामिन करते हैं. एक है स्टेट वाइज देखते हैं और एक है आइलैंड वाइज. जैसे सुसाइड्स पर लैख पॉपुलेशन, तो पर लैख पॉपुलेशन जब भी आता है हमारा अंडमान निकोबार का नंबर ऊपर आ जाता है. तो ये बात सच है और हमारा टारगेट भी यही होना चाहिए कि हम हो सके कि हमेशा मतलब पूरा ज़ीरो तो नहीं कर पाए, बट हमारे एफर्ट से हम कितना कम कर सकते हैं. तो सबसे पहला तो है अवेयरनेस. मेंटल हेल्थ को लेके इतना स्टिग्मा है, पहले की तुलना में शायद थोड़ा कम हो, आज हम बात कर रहे हैं, बट और भी स्टिग्मा कम कैसे होगा जब तक हम आपस में बात नहीं करेंगे. स्कूल्स हो, ऑफिस हो, जब भी मौका मिलता है या मेंटल हेल्थ डेज हो, उस पर ये बातें होनी ज़रूरी है. तभी अवेयरनेस बढ़ेगा और तभी लोग हेल्प सीख करने के लिए आगे आएंगे, मदद के लिए आगे आएंगे. जब तक शर्म और स्टिग्मा रहे, कोई हम आपस में शायद बात करें बट हेल्प सीख ना करें, या हमारे आसपास कोई ऐसा व्यक्ति है जिसको मानसिक बीमारी है बट हम जो झिझकते हैं उसको मदद करने से. और सारा सबसे पहला एफर्ट तो खुद से ही शुरू होगा. ये हमारा जीन्स, हमारा एनवायरनमेंट हमारा कंट्रोल में नहीं है, बट जब हमको लक्षण दिखता है अपने में या आसपास में, तब उनको सही रेफरल देना बहुत ज़रूरी है. सो जैसे कि आपने देखा कि नया इनिशिएटिव है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का, टेलीमानस, एक बहुत अच्छा इनिशिएटिव है. इसके साथ साथ हमारा अपना खुद का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी है कि हम अपना हेल्थ, मेंटल हेल्थ का ध्यान कैसे रखें. सबसे एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है कि सेडेंटरी लाइफ है. दूसरा है आपका स्मार्टफोन एडिक्शन. अभी जितने भी वर्ल्ड में जितने सारे रिसर्च हो रहे हैं या इंडिया में भी रिसर्च हो रहे हैं, इससे ये पाया जाता है कि अगर आप स्टूडेंट या जो बच्चे हैं अगर स्क्रीन टाइम कम नहीं करते हैं अपना, तो यू आर एट वेरी हाई रिस्क. आप बहुत रिस्क में हैं कि आपको बहुत तरह की मानसिक बीमारी आपको शुरू हो जाएगी, आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा. आपका एकेडमिक परफॉर्मेंस खराब होगा, आपके ग्रेड्स खराब होंगे, आपका करियर खराब होगा. तो स्टेप बाय स्टेप ये चलता है. तो मेंटल हेल्थ ठीक रखने के लिए सबसे बढ़िया तो हेल्दी रिक्रिएशन, कुछ एक्सरसाइजेस, अपना रूटीन बनाना, नशों से दूर रहना, जितने भी नशे हैं, बुरी आदतें हैं, उससे दूर रहना. इसके साथ साथ जो भी कभी भी आपको कोई लक्षण लगता है, कोई डिफ़िकल्टी होती है लाइफ में, जहाँ आपको लगता है कि आपको गाइडेंस चाहिए, तो अपने माता पिता या अपने टीचर्स जिनको आप समझते हैं कि उनसे आप बात करके कंफर्टेबल फील करेंगे या कोई सुझाव मिलेगा. और अगर ऐसा सिचुएशन भी नहीं है तो प्लीज़ आप मेंटल हेल्थ, जो हमारे यहाँ ट्रेन क्लिनिकल साइकोलॉजिस्ट और काउंसलर्स हैं टेलीमानस में, वहाँ आप अप्रोच कर सकते हैं, चैट कर सकते हैं. और इवन अगर आप यू आर ओपन इनफ, यू कैन ऑलवेज कम टू अस. इट इज़ ट्रू दैट इट इज़ अ वाइड स्प्रेड आइलैंड, सब जगह सारी फैसिलिटीज़ नहीं हैं. टेली कंसल्टेशन तो कर ही सकते हैं, अगर हमको लगेगा कि आपको सच में आगे की ज़रूरत है, कोई तकलीफ, वी विल गिव यू प्रॉपर गाइडेंस, एंड इन केस वी विल ऑल्सो टॉक टू योर पेरेंट्स ऑल्सो, इफ वट एवर वी कैन प्लान टू हेल्प यू आउट फ्रॉम द सिचुएशन, कोई भी क्राइसिस हो जहाँ पे। और जैसे कि एग्ज़ाम का स्ट्रेस है, बहुत कॉमन है बच्चों में, तो एग्ज़ाम स्ट्रेस से पहले भी हमारे यहाँ से भी डिपार्टमेंट से साइकेट्रिस्ट, साइकोलॉजिस्ट, सोशल वर्कर, ये सारे अपॉइंट होते हैं। यू कैन कॉल इन दैट फ्री नंबर। देर आर वेरियस प्रोग्राम्स, जैसे हम लोग करते हैं, टेलीविज़न में प्रोग्राम करते हैं, रेडियो में करते हैं प्रोग्राम, तो इसके बारे में भी आप अवेयरनेस और अपने आप को ट्रेन कर सकते हैं। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Dr. Saab. With the permission of your Lordship, now we come to the conclusion of the program, and I request Shri Rashid Alam to give vote of thanks. Thereafter, the Nalsa theme song will be played, followed by the national anthem. Please.
Before the Thanksgiving, I'd like to give a special thanks to the cameraman, the person behind the camera. Thank you for following what we requested you, not focusing on them.
Good afternoon, Your Lordship, and good afternoon to each and every distinguished participants. As we come to the conclusion of this important session on child marriage, child sexual abuse, suicide, and the interplay with the POCSO Act and the mental health, it is my privilege, honor, and responsibility to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of Andaman SLSA. Firstly, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Honorable Justice Suryakant, Judge Supreme Court of India and Executive Chairman NALSA, the Honorable Justice Dipankar Datta, Judge Supreme Court of India and Patron Andaman SLSA, the Honorable Justice T.S. Sivagnaganam, the Honorable Chief Justice, High Court at Calcutta and Patron in Chief Andaman SLSA, and the Honorable Justice Sabyasachi Bhattacharya, Judge, High Court at Calcutta and Executive Chairman Andaman SLSA. Their Lordships have enlightened us with their profound insight, legal acumen, and compassionate understanding of these deeply but sensitive issues. Your Lordship view on the legal safeguard under the POCSO Act and the complexity of the child mental health and the holistic approach under the Mental Health Care Act have truly added immense value to our understanding, and hope that today's session will be beneficial for all the participants present here. I convey my sincere and respectful thanks to the Honorable Judge from the Calcutta High Court for participating in this conference despite the Lordship busy schedule and commitments. I convey my special thanks to Sri Bhavani Shankar Sharma, Registrar Administration, High Court at Calcutta, and Sri Sudhir Kumar, District and Session Judge, Port Blair, as well as the other learned judicial officers, for their tireless effort for extending this program successful and memorable one. I also convey my deep thanks to the member of the bar for participating in this 2 days conference, both here and Havelock. Thank you. I also convey my sincere thanks to the respected Chief Secretary, Andaman and Nicobar Administration, who gave guidance and support, and other administrative, executive, police officials. Participant, thank you for your engagement, your thoughtful question, and your passion. It is only through this informed dialogue and collective will that we can hope to eliminate child marriage, end the evil of child sexual abuse, and create a supportive environment where no child or adolescent ever feel alone or without recourse in the moment of despair. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to the team of DBRED, Softtech, APWD, volunteers, Doordarshan, and supporting staff of my registry, who has worked tirelessly behind the scene to ensure that today's program and yesterday's program run smoothly and efficiently. In conclusion, I leave with a simple yet powerful reminder that every child is one caring adult away being a success story. Let us be those adults. Thank you. Now I request to play the NALSA theme song.
एहसास न्याय का सबके लिए, आकाश न्याय का सबके लिए, उल्लास न्याय का सबके लिए, विश्वास न्याय का सबके लिए। अपने इस हिंदुस्तान पर हक हमारा भी तो है, इंसाफ के इस आशिया पर हक हमारा भी तो है। एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर हक हमारा भी तो है, एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर हक हमारा भी तो है।
ये ना सोचो दर्द हमारा कहीं सुना न जाएगा, अब न्यायालय खुद चलकर चौपालों तक आएगा।
लाचारों को न्याय मिलेगा, दुखियारों को न्याय मिलेगा, कमजोरों को न्याय मिलेगा, मजलूमों को न्याय मिलेगा। अपने इस हिंदुस्तान पर हक हमारा भी तो है, उम्मीदों के इस गुलसितां पर हक हमारा भी तो है। एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर हक हमारा भी तो है, एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर हक हमारा भी तो है।
गरीब और कमजोरों को मुफ्त एवं सक्षम कानूनी सहायता के लिए प्रतिबद्ध विधिक सेवा प्राधिकरण नालसा, न्याय सबके लिए।
Now I request my lordships and other participants to rise for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा, तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तव जय गाथा। जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे, जय 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 हे।
सभी से रिक्वेस्ट है कि नीचे लंच का आयोजन किया गया है, पार्टिसिपेंट्स के लिए नीचे निर्धारित स्थान है, डिग्निटरीज के लिए निर्धारित स्थान है, जुडिशियल ऑफिसर्स और एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑफिसर्स पुलिस ऑफिसर्स के लिए निर्धारित स्थान है, नीचे वॉलेंटियर्स है। प्लीज़ लंच के लिए आप लोग सब आइए।
Thank you very much.
थैंक यू।
नंबर 3 शेयर करिए। ये हेल्पलाइन नंबर है जो स्क्रीन में दिखाई दे रहा है. स्टूडेंट लोग से रिक्वेस्ट है तो वो हेल्पलाइन नंबर ले सकते हैं. स्क्रीन में है हेल्पलाइन नंबर.
आइए डिसीजन कहाँ है बुलाइए आइए